We don't see what we look like?
No.
Whoa, crazy. Well, hi everybody.
Hi, welcome to September. However, we are giving you your July/August monthly challenge review.
Yeah, this is the monthly member challenge where we asked you guys to dance for us the difference between regular tempo or regular speed and then halftime. Primarily doing partnered steps, but we've got 4 submissions and it proved to be super difficult. So, first, a huge thank you to everybody who was brave enough to film something and submit it. I think we'll all learn a lot, and hopefully, it was fun for you. Yeah.
A little context for why this challenge, why we created this challenge. I found, from a leader's perspective on the social dance floor, there are many times where a follow will ask me to dance before the song comes on, and I will say yes. And then when the song comes on, it can be really too fast or too comfortable to
Or
do
too
Lindy Hop doing,
slow.
or too slow.
Yeah, the tempo is just an extreme, and
Yeah.
you're like, ugh.
So this for me is a way as a leader that I have found I can deal with still having a dance with a partner versus saying like, you know what, it's too fast, we'll sit this one out. So the ability to go between regular tempo and half tempo it's a good skill to have because it means that you're just more versatile when tempos become extreme.
At a social dance.
Yeah.
And it's a very cool challenge for you mentally and physically. Even regardless if you never go social dancing, it's still proved to be a really interesting and exciting challenge. Also, you might notice that Michael and I are in the same screen. I'm in London right now with Michael because we're doing a workshop here tomorrow. So we're also very excited to actually be giving you this review from the same room. So maybe with that, we'll get started.
Cool.
Yeah, you need to, yes, this is how we watch it. So it's on the main screen, and then we'll put our face on it.
This is how we watch it.
Okay.
This is how we watch it.
Okay, so this first video we're watching Anne and Roman. Now, technically speaking, they did the halftime to regular tempo exercise, but they didn't show us any partnered dancing. So we're just going to give them feedback on the quality of their solo movement at the halftime and regular time. So we recognize a tacky Annie there. 1, 2. That's the slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. Doom, 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 doom. Great. So Anna's doing a really lovely job of playing with her slows and her quicks. So something for this particular exercise that would be helpful actually is whatever step that you're showing us or doing, maybe do it for longer. To really demonstrate this is the step, like for a full phrase, which is 4 8 counts. Show us that you've got the full step going at the regular tempo with the music, and then you also have the ability to show us maybe for another 4 8s the full step at halftime. This is because we're interested in your control of the beat and your awareness of where you are in your counts and how the step fits on the counts.
Ultimately, I think Anne and Roman, you've both met the brief, as we say. Like you've achieved the thing we were looking for, which was the ability to move in halftime versus regular time. If you're going to do a solo jazz thing, I would encourage you to look more at the quality of movement for some of your choices. Like Roman, right there, it almost looks like you were doing Tack Annie. But then I realized as I watched it more, you weren't doing a Tack Annie. There was another slide element to that. So clarity of what the step is.
Maybe he was doing a running step of some kind or trenches of some kind.
Right. But all that being said, when you choose to do a shape, it's really about the clarity of movement now. So that's not necessarily what this challenge was, but since we got to see you do things like a boogie, you're going to do some boogie drops here in just a second. Or some right now, Roman, you're doing foot crawls. Why do you have one arm bent and one arm kind of sagging? Those little things make a big difference.
In other words, it looks like this arm has maybe been forgotten, but also this arm is in a fixed frozen shape.
So that's the feedback. If I was giving you feedback on the movement itself, I would say look at the quality of movement. Right here, when you're doing these boogie drops, you're going toe, heel, heel, toe, heel, heel.
I'm going to go back and watch that again.
So right here, when you get into your boogie drops, you're practicing toe, heel, heel. Instead of going toe, heel, heel, it should be toe, heel, full foot. And there's an arm gesture that also can correlate with your boogie drop so that it's a clear idea.
Going back, also looking at some of Anne's stuff. So, Anne, I like that your arms are placed. It's good that it looks like you've chosen to put them there, but then they're kind of stuck there, which is a good starting point. But like Michael just said, you could maybe accentuate the end of the boogie drop by maybe dropping one of the arms or maybe snapping at the end or clapping at the end in some way to signify that the arms are aware and honoring the rhythm of the step. Thank you guys for submitting, and hopefully if we do something like this again, we encourage you to try out partner dancing as well, because that's a whole nother challenge level for you guys. But thank you for showing us the difference between QuickTime and regular time.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got David and Amy now. Thank you guys for submitting. This was a great video. Super cool tennis racket course place.
It's a racquetball court.
A racquetball court. It's actually a really beautiful silhouette shot of you guys. It's just a really cool video. You guys have really nice dancing. You've got a lot of really nice energy. Let's look at your first slowdown, which I think is really nice because it also works with the music. So we see that you do these beautiful swing outs, and then at the end of that phrase, you use the conclusion of the musical phrase to kind of give sort of a stopping breath. And that is a really great transition into your halftime. And then as we see your halftime happen here, there's something in the body. You do a nice kind of a dip, and Amy does a nice job of slowing down. But I almost wish, this is referring back to Stefan and Rhonda's comment, I almost wish that there was more of a big juicy bounce in the body that you predict or telegraph to her sooner to set the new tempo or to set that. In this moment, you actually kind of you freeze for a while, and then we have to wait until the song comes in to see the pulse reach your body. It's a little, yeah, it could be just a lot more. You get into it. You definitely sit into it, and all of this starts to look really nice. I just kind of would have wanted that tempo set sooner. Then this is a great moment where y'all rev up to fast tempo again. Let's look at that transition, because David, you have a bounce there. You were going in this halftime, do, and I want you to watch your body right here. We see that powerfully in his right leg, right here. There you go. And that setup prior to the rock step really helps Amy to keep with you on it.
So that moment, just to clarify what I hear, and I think what you're seeing is that transition from da, 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 ba, bum, bum, bum. That's the most important thing, is really that or that pickup moment, which is in his right leg. So leaders, when you're conveying these things, that's really where you're going to help your follow understand that a transition is happening. So again, it's the and moment, or that bounce moment before you pick up tempo. And that's really great. That's a great job that David does here.
Now we're going to watch this slow down moment. Your fast dancing or the quick time dancing was really comfortable. You guys had a good sense of the beat and the kick steps. But then we've got a little bit of an awkward pause where you want to slow down again. So the toe tap, which is kind of cute and fun, it can still work, but the problem is your whole body doesn't commit to it. It seems kind of like an isolated gesture just with your toe, and that sort of a thing is a harder thing for Amy to feel. So if you had done something similar, but incorporated the whole body sinking down more, that could have helped her. I mean, you also use a wiggle in your hips, and the wiggle is also like, let's stop and going back into slow time.
If I were to say something about this, from a technical standpoint, rhythmically, boom, you mix and match your slows and quicks, which doesn't necessarily feel like a transition. So right here, you have bum 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 bum. Like that wiggle is actually in the quicker
in the
rhythm.
Quick time.
So it's like you go do ga a wiggle and slow. And so I think that is, to me, that looks a little confusing in your own body as to which tempo you want to go at. And as Evita said, committing more fully in all of your body would help.
And when we say all of your body, I'm specifically referring to the bounce, which is a vertical up and down relationship to the floor. So if somebody shimmies their shoulders or if somebody wiggles their hips, it's kind of like the decoration to the body, but it doesn't have the pushing through the floor that is super obvious and readable to your partner, which actually helps to translate, here's where the pulse, the new pulse is.
If I were to do a wiggle or something like that from the rock, step, break, and tap and do, I might go like woo woo. Like, and again, it's not just the hips, but woo woo, boom, ba, ya, da da. That's a different.
Oh yeah.
It's a way of conveying that you've transitioned versus I got into something.
Yeah. I also know that here you guys are back in your slow tempo now. And sometimes we can read in the body. That's pretty good. But as you start to kind of decide about when are you going to move into the fast, it's just really difficult to keep in your mind, first of all, both possibilities of the slow and the regular time. And then also, like right here, we see a little bit of a hiccup or a rush as to when do we actually start going fast. And I think, you know how you sometimes have to like pat your head and rub your tummy or vice versa? It's hard when you're working on halftime, the slow tempo, to hold on to that while your brain is still remembering and hearing the fast time. Of course, that's the challenge, and it kind of feels like this. So if we go back and look at this transition from your slow or your halftime going back to regular speed, we can just see sort of in your body the mental hesitation of when is it actually going to go fast. Part of me thinks that...
Back it up, because I think...
Even more.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks that there were two factors there. I think David was trying to hit the phrase or wait for the conclusion of the musical phrase. And then part two, I think David was also trying to find the one or a rock step or some conclusion to the figure that you were in the middle of. So you kind of hesitate through until you get to a recognizable swing out beginning.
From here, rock, step, kick, triple step, and then you go into your kick steps. That's what's funky, is that it's just a weird moment to go trip. You said a rock, step, triple step, kick, and yeah. It's these and kick and kicks. It's muddy.
But it's okay, David. It's literally it's great for all of us to just see, are we sticking with the slow triples, or is your body starting to escalate to the full time?
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, you guys, really nice dancing. You have nice pictures, nice shape, and nice connection. And it was just really fantastic to see y'all do this challenge with the rest of us, because it's definitely testing how well you know where you are in time, and as a leader, when do you choose to make these changes.
Yeah. And in general, strengthening, like an exercise like this, maybe you'll never use or rarely use on the social floor, but the ability to do so strengthens your understanding of music and subdivision, but also intention, so that you know how to make something happen when you want it to happen.
And we spoke a lot to David, but I just want to give a quick thought to Amy, that Amy, you do a really nice job of keeping a steady pulse for him, whether it's slow or fast. And one of the greatest tips and secrets for following, especially in this case, is think of being slower or waiting, so that in the transitional moments you can feel. Like, that was a really good job, even though it was kind of a surprise. You do a good job in that moment of just going, oh, what, oh, yeah. And then, and I feel that every time that a transition is made by David, you do a really good job of picking it up and staying consistent with it until the next one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely to see you guys. Thanks for posting a video.
Yeah.
All right, so now we've got Steph and Rhonda doing their version, and a really, really great job. It looks to me like, Steph, you had a really good plan at the beginning here with your halftime, and then you use this slide as your transition into the faster tempo. You've got this beautiful side-by-side Charleston work, and then you do this kind of Balboa-y stop, which transitions you again into your slow tempo. Now let's go back and watch that with music. Because my 2 points for Steph complimenting her is that it's like you had a plan, almost choreographed. You used moves, like you used a slide, and then you used that crossover stop as your punctuation points of transition, and it lined up specifically with the music, which we're going to hear now. A lot of people did this, whether you meant to or not. A lot of people were working with the music that they chose, and they were listening to phrases or cues in the music that mentally gave usually the leader the idea of switching tempos, which is quite useful.
And what is nice about this, coming off of that break, is that you used the break as a way to stop the momentum of the fast and transition. So it felt a little bit probably easier to make that transition. If we're doing something like a swing out, for example, and we decide all of a sudden to go from one tempo to the other, it actually can feel a little bit more challenging. So I thought that was a really clever way of using your footwork to make the transition. And then stepping forward out of it, again, was really nice because it wasn't the rock step that automatically became the reset moment. So, well done.
Yeah, if I also want to watch again as we go into those slow triple steps. That was it right there. Look at the bounce from the fast stuff into those kind of slower triple steps. This quality of movement, the boing, 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 uh, is something that I'm going to be pointing out about other people when they transition as well. We need to see that whole pulse change in the body, which you do very well there. Then towards the end, so we're in our slow, our halftime, and then when you speed up again, Steph, I just wanted to point out that you do a good job of accelerating your feet and triple stepping in the correct quick time tempo, but almost as if you were a tap dancer. And I know you've been doing a lot of solo tap rhythm work with your feet. We see your accuracy, but we do not see the way you affect Rhonda. So we don't see the velocity or the momentum rev up in the partnership. We'll take a look at that transition now. Give a little volume. Yeah, we'll go back. Slow. Yeah, so we see definitely, we hear your feet go da 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 accurately, but we just don't get enough go power from you in this swing out to like we would need you to move Rhonda and get like a fire going underneath the momentum of the partnership much more.
I think with that, I mean, I'm probably not going to say anything more revolutionary than what Evita just expressed. But when you do something like this, Steph, when you do this, do that stomp off moment is great, and we use a stomp off all the time in our Lindy Hop to signal to our partner the end of an idea. So I think you use that well here, but again, it has to be more than just the feet with a little bit of sound, because it looks like Rhonda still wasn't quite ready for the transition in terms of pace.
Yeah.
And I think you can do a better job of telegraphing that with more of your body versus just the footwork itself.
So as an overall comment for you guys, we saw a really great, clear understanding of the challenge, which was the halftime to regular time. And the thing that was lacking was, as Michael said, the partnership's translation of it.
As a side note for both of you, it's something that you're constantly working on, and we want to remind you that you need to continue working on it. Be careful about how flat-footed you get through your dancing, because it's still there for a lot of the things. And so I think outside, like any of these challenges will be made easier by good foundation or fundamental technique. So make sure that as you're stepping, it's not fully flat foot, and it's certainly not heel toe. I do see moments where the heel is off the floor, which is great, so it's not all the time, but please do some homework in watching this video again and see if you can identify where those flat-footed moments are.
Okay, so we've got Sam and Mindy. This is a really great exercise specifically for Sam because we know he's been working on his triple steps and having them swing. Sam, bravo for doing this work by yourself before bringing in Mindy. It's just a really clear example that all of us can see. Oh yeah, he's got his triple steps slow and his triple steps fast. The other nice thing is that Sam is choosing to do a certain correct number, which either adds up to the musical phrase or it brings him back to the one. And here he goes with the rock step. So Sam did a great job of using his rock step as the reset transitional point for all of his stuff. That's not always what's going to happen on the social dance floor, but as an exercise, it was a very clear spot which Sam was able to correctly recharge and reset and make literally his mental map of.
I might take that exercise that you did of 4 of each one and just play with that. So I might go, instead of 4 halftime basics followed by 4 regular time basics, I might do 1/8 of each. That way you're breaking outside of the musical structure a little bit more. But you're also just transitioning, revving up and slowing down, and revving up and slowing down, just to develop the muscular control, just as a way to go.
So now, when we see Mindy come in, now Sam has done his practice, and he's pretty clear in his mind, so he's better able to, I guess, feel secure and safe while holding Mindy. Sam commented on how he kind of skips out on his triple steps at the fast tempo. We see that happening here. I just wanted to say, Sam, it's okay, especially for the leaders, to sometimes lose their triple steps because your job is to be grounding and basing for the step. What is nice is that you understand how those moves fit into the regular time, and then we're just wanting to see in your body and in your lead, can you translate? There was the transition for slow.
On that moment right there, if you look at Sam's hand position on Mindy, it's pretty shallow. For us, because that's a closed position, my hand might be a little bit further around on the back. And that also helps in terms of when you want to convey a tempo change, you have more control over her weight to help her with her balance or to help her feel that change. So,
Yeah, I think at a certain point, Michael might even wrap his arm further around me to kind of hug me and slow me down into it, which is what you're saying.
yeah, I think both, yeah, exactly.
And so, changing your hand position, like Michael suggested, could also help to communicate that. Because if we look, even though you did a pretty good job of slowing yourself down, Sam, it was just a. You see Mindy's. She's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Good job, Mindy, for catching that in the moment and being. Ugh. And again, if Sam had more of his arm around you, he could have kind of held her and helped with that.
Yeah. Mindy, I would say in general, as I was watching you dance, I know that you're trying to be hyper aware of when the changes happen. And I think for follows, this is a really difficult challenge because it is a reactive moment. And if you react too late, you'll miss something. That being said, see if you can address what looks like hyper focus also looks a little bit timid to me, as if you're just kind of not really moving well or fully in anticipation of a transition that may happen. So as I'm watching you go through these steps, at the fast tempo, it's a little bit more hidden, but when we transition to these slow moments, it becomes much more where you're just constantly kind of scrunched or bent down. So right there, all your footwork is small. Can you stand up taller and really commit to those ideas, even though it may feel risky to do so? So even through here, everything's just like your free arm is held tight. And I think it's just hedging bets in anticipation.
Hedging bets, yeah. Which of course makes sense, Mindy, because you can probably feel through Sam his concern or his worry about it, and it is pretty hard. Um, when people talk about dancing faster, there's always this question of, do we need to tense more? Do we actually need to? And no, the answer is no. You might need to not let things go as big or as long. That is a true statement, but that's a different sort of control over your body space. It's different from actually tensing and clenching and getting smaller in your body. It took me a long time to realize that because I recognized in my fear of faster dancing, if I got tight and small, then I didn't move well. And so you still have to move healthy, comfortably, like Michael was saying. And in fact, in some ways, the more natural step or arrival and weight commitment will be more obvious and helpful to Sam to deal with.
Yeah. In general, though, I thought it was a really great, it was a good execution of the exercise. And as Evita already said, it's a really good idea to practice by yourself, feeling what those tempo changes require of you before you get connected to a partner. That's for both sides. I think understanding how to subdivide the music in your body really makes you a stronger, more balanced dancer.
And our last note to everybody is also about music selection. So if, like, Ann and Roman picked a really bluesy, twangy song, and then Sam and Mindy picked a really hot traditional jazz song, and it's fine that you chose those options, but we just wanted to point out that the musical choice will really pull you in one direction or the other. Like, bluesy, twangy music is going to just encourage you to sit longer into something, so it can feel more going up against the song when you want to go fast. And similarly for Mindy and Sam, it was really hard to feel slow triple steps and do the slow halftime at this very chunk traditional jazz song. But maybe you did that because it was very clear or it was a challenge. But we just wanted to comment on the song choices and how they can help or hurt you or make it more challenging.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great job, everybody, for submitting your videos. Thank you so much for those of you who took the time and who are being brave. You also help everybody else who watches the replay to learn. And as always, we encourage all of the annual members to please submit and, find a partner, because everybody gets to learn from everybody's progress.
Yeah. And again, this exercise is it's a little bit funky, but there is some functionality on the dance floor. If you find that it's a little too fast for you, you can always dance halftime, and it's still a great, wonderful dance. So thank you again, as Vita already said, and we look forward to seeing you for the next challenge.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Why is life hard sometimes?
It's testing.
It is, and I'm failing.
Not all the time.
Dum, 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 dum.